Good afternoon, sir. So this is the group 7. So we're going to discuss about the non-probability sampling. So this is the agenda. Introduction. Non-probability sampling involves selection of samples such that there is no known probability that one member of the population will be included in the sample. In short, non-probability sampling has no randomization in the selection of members of the sample. So, the non-probability is a way to select a sample for research without using randomization, which means that dili tanan sa population is na-chance na ma-appeal sa isa ka study or isa sa first participant. So, the most commonly used non-probability sampling techniques include convenience, purposive, snowball, quota, and volunteer sampling. So, convenience sampling. This sampling technique is also called haphazard sampling. As the name implies, this sampling procedure is carried out in a matter of convenience or ease of implementation on the part of the researcher. That is, the samples taken are readily available for participate in the study. So the researcher picks people who are easy to reach or available. For example, a typical ambush interview usually shown on TV shows which gather opinions about a specific political issue. Another example is an opinion poll done electronically through texting or social media. So for example is, naay aksidente ana nga street tapos as a interviewer, modul ka dito, so kana mga convenience sampling mo na yung gamitin kung kinsa naara dito sa insidente mo imong pangutan or kung kinsa ra may available na imong pangutan. So the next is purposive sampling. So this sampling is done with the purpose in mind. This technique, also called judgmental or selective sampling, focuses on samples that are taken based on the judgment of the researcher. The goal of this sampling is to carefully choose the members of population that are best fit to answer for research questions. So the researcher selects specific people who can provide the best information for the study. So for example, if a researcher wants to study toothpaste brand most preferred by people, then he or she would on purpose put the nearby convenience store and conduct an interview among all buyers of a particular brand. So, sa example, if a researcher mag-conduct a study about the toothpaste, ang researcher maato sa convenience store which is naghamot na malit sa brand na toothpaste. Dahil, kasi ito mga nigamit ato nga toothpaste, mo yung pangutanon which is best fit sa yung research conduct. So the next is snowball sampling. Snowball sampling is sometimes called chain referral sampling. In this technique, the researcher chooses a possible respondent for the study at hand. Then each respondent is asked to give recommendations or referrals to the other possible respondents. This is a very effective sampling technique, especially when the suitable participants in the study are hard to find. So the researcher starts with a small group of participants and mua sila nga i-recommend to nga study para i-recommend to nga study sa uban. So the next is quota sampling. Quota sampling is equivalent of stratified random sampling in terms of non-probability sampling. In this technique, the researcher starts by identifying quotas, which are predefined control categories such as age, gender, education, or religion. The population is then divided into several categories according to the control category. So the last researcher collects a sample which has the same proportion as given population. So the researcher divides the population into groups like age or gender and picks the participant to match the proportion of the population. So for example, a study is conducted in a divided population in which 30% are single and 70% are married. With quota sampling, the sample chosen by the researcher should be of the same proportion to this population. Thus, if 100 individuals are to be selected, then the quota of the sample includes in this study. So, the sample consists of people who are volunteer or participate only in the study. So, kung kinsa to mo participate, mo lang sila mo'y kuan sa study ka na participant sa study. Either may participate sa study. So, the next reporter will be Elijah. So, she'll be discussing about computing sample size.
So, ang next na topic ay computing sample size. So, balik na. So, the term sample, there is a computing sample size, refers to the part of the population that helps you, the researcher, to answer your problem statements and allow you to draw inferences about the population of interest. So, kanang sample, okay, mo na siya ang part sa population nga mo ay kanang pili bitaw instead of ang tibuok population kay para makahimo ka ng as para sa nakatang dili inference or generalization para sa tibuok population. So, collecting information from all the members of the population is time-consuming and expensive. So, an appropriate sample size is needed. So, as mentioned diha, kay langay magyud kay ng tibuok population gyud imong pilion bitaw para i-survey. So, mo na gamit sa sample kay para pilian ang population. To know the proportion of residents nga mo support sa new public transportation initiative. So, if i-survey nimo na kanang 50,000 ka tawo kay langay na gyud na kaayo mong sulay gali ug dili ba kakapuyon. So, computing sample size. To compute the sample size, one formula used in statistics is the Cochrane sample size formula. So, pag-solve na pud gyud ta kay compute man gid siya. So the formula enables you to calculate the ideal sample size given a desired level of precision, desired confidence level, and the estimated proportion of the attribute of the population. The formula is deemed appropriate for large populations. If the whole population is relatively small, the adjusted Cochrane formula can be used to reduce the sample size calculated by the Cochrane's formula. So, what is the Cochrane's formula? Which is kaning P squared, muna siya ang desired level of precision, right? Kanang Z squared, muna siya ang Z value sa given yung confidence level. Then kaning P, muna siya ang portion sa population. Then, kanang Q, muna siya ang as you can see, nakapasok dire 1 minus ang proportion of the population. Muna siya example sa population size. So, suppose a survey is to be conducted involving a large city about their agreement or disagreement on the newly implemented City of Ordinance. You have not enough information about the population, so you will assume that half the population agrees. This gives you P is equal to 0.5. Muna siya i-assume nga half the population kay mo agree. Then, suppose you want to have 95% confidence level. So ang mga confidence level kay naslay mga Z value. So, ang given Z value sa given na 95% kay 1.96. Then sa formula kay squared siya. So, kaya and it has at least 5% precision, a margin of error. So, one is an example sa computing sample size. Suppose a survey is to be conducted involving a large city about their agreement or disagreement on the newly implemented city ordinance. You have not enough information about the population, so you will assume that half the population agrees. So, this gives you P is equal to 0.5. Then suppose you want to have a confidence level of 95%. So ang mga confidence level, kailangan siya yung mga given nga Z value. ang given nga z-value sa 95% ay 1.96. So, muna siyang may 1.96 diha. And you want to have at least 5% precision margin of error. So, muna siya ang imong precision, or imong margin of error. And chemical. Then, so yung mana siyang i-calculate na nan, then mana na yung ang magawas, 385. So mana siya yung sample size. So, as mentioned ganiha sa previous na slide, which is, if the whole population is relatively small, the adjusted Cochran formula can be used to reduce the sample size calculated by the Cochran's formula. So, muna siya ang formula sa adjusted Cochran formula, and where N, small letter N, is the new adjusted sample size. So this becomes 385. Okay, muna sample size niya, and kaning big letter N is the population size. So, there's an image. So suppose there are 900 individuals in the city being investigated, then the sample size will be, so, makita mo din. So example, suppose there are only 900 individuals in the city being investigated, then the sample size will be, muna siya ang using the adjusted Cochran formula, muna siya ang muna ang sample size in natin, muna siya ang population. So, in order to solve this, muna siya ang may nasa ubos. So, that becomes N is equal to 385, then 1 plus 385 minus 1, that becomes 384 over 900. After Anna, imang i-divide it into half. So that becomes N is equal to 385 1 plus, so 384 divided by 900 is equal to 0.776. Then, after Anna, if plus unit 1, we're gonna 0.766. So, makita natin din. So, it becomes N is equal to 385 over 1 plus 0.766. So 1.76. After Anna, i-divide silang dahil hindi sila. Bawa na mag-calculate. So, ano siya? 100 lang i-divide. So, 385 divided by 1.766 is equal to N equals to 2.18. So, ano siya?
Hi, I'm your presenter for today, and my name is Andrea Gracel A. Vizcaino, and I'm showing you this topic called population and sample. Introduction. In research, population and sample are two key concepts used in the process of data collecting and analysis. Understanding the distinction between them is fundamental for designing a study and making valid inferences from the results. So, what is population? So the population refers to the entire group of individuals or items that a researcher is interested in studying. It is the complete set of subject or observation that share certain characteristics. In most research, it's often impractical, time-consuming, or expensive to collect data from every individual or item in the population. Hence, the population represents the full scope of the study's focus. So, here is it. The population is a group of students, or let's say employees, who are interested in the research studies. So, let me give you an example of the population. The population is generally defined by the researcher before the study begins, and its scope depends on the research objectives. So I'll give you example number 1. All the students in particular university if studying university-wide behaviors. Example number 2, all the employees in specific company if studying workplace satisfaction. So, for example, this is another example. So, this all employees in a specific company. So, if you're conducting a study that is all about that you need to collect a survey from the employees who, let's say, employees of a food factory. So all the employees in a specific company if studying a workplace satisfaction. So if you're going to conduct a study about a food survey, a what do you call that? If you're going to conduct a study where there's a food factory and there's an employees and all of them are like in a group, you need to interview them in a group. So that's the example of the population. Last example, all voters in country if studying. Example number 3, example number 3, all voters in a country if studying electoral behavior. So those are the examples of the population. So this is a population and sample. So what is the sample? We're done talking about the population. Let's move on to the sample. So a sample is a subset of the population that is selected for the actual study. Since studying an entire population is often not feasible, a sample is chosen to represent the population. The goal is for the sample to be representative of the population so that conclusions drawn from the sample can be generalized to the larger population. The key characteristics of a sample, there are 2, sampling process and sample size. Sampling process, what is this? The way a sample is selected is critical to the study's validity. If the sample is chosen randomly or with other sound sampling techniques, it can provide a reliable estimate of the population. Sample size. The size of the sample depends on the research design and the desired precision of the results. Larger samples generally lead to more accurate estimates but require more resources. So, examples of the samples. Example number 1, I'll give you 3 examples of the sample. a survey of 500 students from a university. So this is like counted, mga unlimited siya. To represent the entire student body. Example number 2, a random selection of 200 employees from a company to represent the workplace. A group of 1,000 randomly selected voters to predict voting behavior of the entire population. So those are the examples of the samples. So what is the relationship between population and sample? So there's inferences. Researchers collect data from the sample and use it to make inferences about the population. The sample could accurately reflect the population to minimize sampling errors and bias. So there's another one. There's sampling techniques. Various sampling methods exist, such as simple random sampling, stratified sampling, and cluster sampling, each with its strengths and weaknesses in terms of representatives and accuracy. So why we use sample? Why do we use sample? Why use a sample? Cost and time. There's cost and time. Gathering data from an entire population can be expensive and time consuming because population is very time consuming. Practically, in many cases, the population is too large to study comprehensively. So that's why we prefer sample, kasi kay mas dali. It's more easy. And last, statistical efficiency. A well-chosen sample can provide results that are just accurate as studying the whole population, but with less effort and expense. So that's why we use sample. That's why we prefer using sample. Last slide is the conclusion. In summary, the population is the entire group the researcher wants to study, and the sample is the subset of that group from which data is actually collected. A carefully selected sample using sound sampling techniques allows researchers to make valid generalization and conclusion about the larger population, making it a cornerstone of the empirical research. So, thank you guys, and that is the population and sample. Thanks for listening, everyone.